And I am playing along with the Iron Crafter, which is kind of like the Iron Chef, I believe. I've never actually seen Iron Chef, but the idea is that we have a challenge item to use each month on our scrapbook layouts. This month it's metal that is not eyelets or brads. So this was a fun one. I went into my stash and I found a bunch of metal things, and we'll go through that. The sketch I am using is from Christy's Beautiful Life and her 30 Days of Sketches, which she's had like, I think it's 12 series now. I'm using series 1. I can have the Facebook group linked below, and she has sketches for every day of the month when she does these series. And this is from her first series, and this sketch is by Susan Stringfellow. It's sketch number 163. So it's got the layering behind the photos, it's got a little cluster down here, and it's got this beautiful circle. So I found this lovely picture of myself and my husband. We were in Florida for several weeks in February, and I wanted to use this background paper because, one, it's got the silver on it, and it's one of these that's not super easy to use for me. It's got a title already on it. Life is Beautiful. Lovely. So I went into my silver paper, I cut this out, and what I realized is because I have this lovely title here, I made my circle a little bit too big. But what I think I'm gonna do is have it go off the paper, and that's okay. Sketch is a jumping off point, so you can change it up however you like. I don't want it to go over the title at all. It's just not going to work for me. So if I have this more here, we're going to have to cut it off here. We're going to have to cut it off here, and that is okay. I could even scoot it a little bit more so that, you know, it goes off that way. I'm going to do some, might go, this is where it's going to get tricky because this is where, how I'm going to know how much of this circle to use. So it might be something like that. I've already cut one of my layering pieces behind. Went into my stash of my colors, just the scraps, and I think I'm going to use this as a layering piece too, so I'll cut this down. And then I'm going to show you what I'll be using for my cluster pieces over here. I just have a whole bunch of different, here we've got stickers that are silver. I went through, I have a lot of gold as well, but I just decided, obviously, silver background, maybe not obviously, you can mix metals, not a problem. But I just have a lot of different fun stickers, as well as, look at, there's some circles here that can work. They're kind of big. Here, even though I might have to use a brad with these are little photo clips that could work. I have some, there's a Vicky Boutin sticker. I do have several Vicky Boutin stickers that are in the silver. Those are fun. This was a piece that I got a container from Facebook Marketplace, and this was just randomly in there. Something that could totally be used if I need to. Could be maybe part of that journaling or that cluster piece. And then I just have various other kind of stickers. Oh, here's another thing that I'm really looking forward to using on this page. I think these are We Are Memory Makers, but I have 2 of these, and they're just photo corners. And they've been in my stash forever, but they're going to be perfect on this layout. So with all of those goodies, let's get scrapping. I'm going to first take those background pieces, the scraps, and trim those down. And you can see in the sketch that it is a square. So I think I make it, did I make it, however big I made it, I think I made it a little bit too big, and then I cut it down. Maybe not? 6 by 6? No. Oh, no, I trimmed this one down. This one is a paper from Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby, and I just trimmed like an inch off, and I was much more happy, and there we go. So I think it was 6 by 6, and now it's going to be 5 by 5, if I remember correctly. Something like that, yeah. And I love how these papers just complement each other so nicely. And that the circle is sitting there, so I make sure that that doesn't move because that's where I want it to go down. And that cluster gives me a hard time. I'm not sure how that's going to work, and I move things around a lot. I know I want those paper strips, so then I go back to working with my photo, and I do this like I often do where, boy, it's in the right spot. I'm not picking it up, so I'm going to hold it in place and glue these things down. I felt like I should have been left-handed. I could have done it a little bit better on that side, but I do get it down. And then I use my liquid glue for the circle, and it's super not easy because it is so thin. Those rings on that circle are so thin, but that's okay. I get some glue down, and here's where my camera starts to slip, so the angle's going to change. I apologize for that. My phone was plugged in and it dragged the angle of the phone. There, and I get it to where I like it because it's the least amount that's going to be trimmed off. And there goes my phone more. Okay, so we're going to fix that, but it's going to slide again. But for the moment, we're straight on again. So I did cut this silver piece. I was worried that I cut it too short. So I was ready to cut it in the middle because you can't see, like if you cut it in half to make it longer, you won't be able to see that. But it is long enough, so I'm good with where it is. And then I get these photo corners glued down, and what I don't realize it until I'm doing this voiceover, I put one up on top of the photo on the left, and on the right it goes on the cardstock. So after the pictures are taken and everything, I do move that right corner one up to the photo. And then I go back to working on that cluster, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong at the time. But what really needs to happen is that, here goes my camera again, the frame that I put down really needs to be backed with a color. Oop, magically we're fixed again. So I do use those tags like they have in the sketch, and I put some twine on there. I just tuck it in through the hole and then wrap it around and then pull the string through, so rather than tying it. So and once I get those kind of laid down, I glue those right down again, and there goes that darn camera. It's only this one time. I'll fix it, I promise, and I'll unplug my phone and we won't have that problem again. So I get those glued down and I work on that frame, which I've also had for absolutely forever. Sorry, don't get dizzy here. And then I'll glue it down, and then it takes me a while. I can't do the silver on silver. It just, that heart just blends in too well. It just doesn't pop out. So I try to make that work. I really want to use that on this page, and it just won't make it onto this page. I'm looking around for other things to go on there, and I find this is part of the Vicki Boutin collection, and I want to tuck that in. It's got some black on it, so I just put it there for the moment. I'm trying to put that heart in different places, and it just doesn't work. With the arrow on there, I know I want to frame it with the black, and then I end up going into my black embellishments, and I finally pull out this black circle, and I tuck that in there, and I like that there. And it might be soon where I figure out I'm going to put a different shade of purple under. There we go. Just a little bit different shade, and it'll kind of just back that frame, and that gives it enough where everything else kind of pops because you don't have the silver on silver. So that makes me happy. And I still try to put that heart, and it's just not going. So then I trim off the circles that are hanging over the side, which was not the easiest, probably because I didn't have the glue up till the end, so the whole thing kind of just wanted to move. So I did my best. And then once I do get them trimmed off on that top there, I'll glue them down better so that they stay where they're supposed to stay. And I'll use my liquid Tombow Mono glue, which really works well for that purpose. And then I decided I have to take off a little bit in order to frame it. So I did take off some from the bottom, and off from that left side because my cluster is right up against that right side, so I couldn't trim it off at all from the right. So I'll get that right trimmed down, which maybe I didn't have to trim with my scissors on the circle, but it worked. It worked well. So here's where I'll get my glue out and glue those pieces down better. Please check below for everyone else that is playing with the Iron Crafter Challenge. You might find someone new to check out. That's always fun. Give everybody else some love as well. Learn some new stuff and see what everyone else uses for their metal that is not brads or eyelets. I did not use a lot of metal on this page, but I did get some kind of big pieces, some heavy pieces out of my stash, so that makes me happy. So I'm going to back this, and then this is basically going to be done. Give me a thumbs up if you like. Consider subscribing. Have a fabulous day. I'll see you again soon.